actually working, and I'm hoping that they are. They better be. If they're not, that's okay too. But hi, everybody. It's Crystal Lynn, and I am here for Spiritual Business Hour at 2 o'clock, like I say I'm going to do every day of the week. So it's Badass Beautiful Fridays, and today I have a really badass, beautiful woman with me. Her name is Lee Forrester. She is a strategist, a life strategist coach, and we're going to talk about 8 ways to show up beautifully as a coach and spiritual entrepreneur. Now, before we do that, I kind of want to just talk about why this is important for me and what is bringing me to. Hold on a second. I'm going to just turn that volume down. There we go. Right? Because it's working. The live stream is working like it's supposed to on all the channels. So, hey, who knows how to do tech? Crystal Lynn knows how to do tech. All right. If you are here live, type in hashtag live in the comments. If you are watching the replay, please type in hashtag replay. That's incredibly helpful for us both. So, this week at the Spiritual Business Hour, we've been talking about the importance of the summer solstice, why it's important to move out of the space of dreaming and having great ideas and not taking action on them. Over the course of this week, we've been talking about how to use the energy of the summer so that you can make the most out of all the things that you want to do, how you can put your ideas in action. Well, today, Lee and I are going to kind of talk about what comes after you start to take action. We're going to talk about how you show up. So on Badass Beautiful Fridays, I like to talk about things that are beautiful, and Lee and I are going to tackle how you can show up as a spiritual entrepreneur, as a spiritual coach, as a spiritual healer, as a woman who is spiritual, but who's also an entrepreneur and who needs to make some money. All right. So all right. So I want to introduce my friend here, Lee. And Lee, will you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you help people?
Mm-hmm. I am a life strategy coach for women primarily. Oftentimes they're 40 plus or so, and they sometimes life mostly looks quite fantastic on the outside, but we're so good at putting on a cover, and sometimes that's not the case. And so I think if it would narrowed it down to one word, Crystal Lynn, I would say permission. I help women to use their voice to, first of all, talk to yourself about what you want, but give yourself permission to do the things that you really, really want to do.
I love that. I think that's really important. Even though we're in our 40s and 50s, I'm already in my 50s, 56, okay? More than in my 50s. I'm in my 50s. But, still giving myself permission is a thing. So, right now, today, we're talking about what it means to show up beautifully. And Lee's going to be sharing her perspective of what that means, and I'm going to be sharing my perspective of what that means. But I want to just kind of put this in context. I want to give my perspective, and then I'm going to invite Lee to give her perspective of what that even means. And what I mean, just want to get us warmed up here. What do I mean by um, showing up beautifully as a life coach? Does that mean putting on makeup and having some kind of a fancy background? Does it mean having great lighting? Sure, those things are important, but that's not what I mean. As I sat with this and kind of understanding that, coaches have a purpose, coaches have a desire to create and to be of service. For me, it means showing up beautifully means that you show up well, that you show up in your best light. It doesn't mean, though, showing up perfect. I don't mean showing up like like you know I don't mean showing up with a professional makeup team, with a professional background. None of that stuff is what's important. I've got 8 ways, and Lee has 8 ways as well. So, Lee, I want to ask you, what do you mean by showing up beautifully as a spiritual coach and entrepreneur?
Yeah, and it's back to that word permission again. Give yourself permission to be who you really are, if uninterrupted, like who you really want to be. Because I don't know that we really, as coaches, as healers, as women, really show up if we weren't considering who we were going to see and what they might think. If there was no judgment whatsoever, what would it be? Because I believe as girls, we're trained from very early on to put on the show, and it's all about the stuff and the hair and the clothes and all of that. And I don't know that many of us know how to separate that.
Wow, I think that's a beautiful entry. You've gone there already, like with, the permission idea. But I remember when I was a kid, I could never get it together. And I had a mom who was stunning. She was physically beautiful. She had a pretty face, but she always had it together. She was an Aries, and so she knew how to dress. She dressed well, and she was elegant and refined and glamorous. And I was a bit of a tomboy. I had a pot belly. I had acne. My hair was always messed up. And I was the bane of my mom's existence. Unfortunately, she just could not stand the way I dressed myself, the way I cared for myself. That was very hard. And so for me, showing up was always stressful just from that physical place.
Very, very much so. This is a lot of performing and pleasing of people, really from the get go.
Absolutely. I think that as coaches, there can definitely be a lot of that's in the background. But one of the things that has happened for me, Lee, is that I've come into my own sense of beauty, and I had to fight hard for it. I had to overcome a lot of the things that I was told as a kid about what is beautiful and what is not beautiful, what behaviors are acceptable, what is not acceptable. And there was criticism, but there was also some admiration that
Hmm.
was there, and how to take that admiration and keep it in perspective. That, all that kind of taken together, doing my own healing has brought me to my own sense of self-expression. Can you relate to that in any way?
Totally. I really am loving this era of self expression and having fun with it, to be honest. Being a little adventurous, mix and matching some things, going a little counterculture, and a little bit of defiance with some of the things. I was intentionally wearing socks that did not match. And just I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. There's no good reason. Nobody can give me a good reason.
Come on, but that is so 80s. That is so 80s.
And it wasn't obvious, but I'm like, what's the point? You got left one and the right one. Let's go.
That's really cute. But that kind of stylish thing is the experimental phase of being young and coming into womanhood. I think that's really important. And I see that Zainab is here. Thank you, Zainab, for joining us. Hi, it's nice to see you. So, um, that experimental phase, I think, is so valid and so important, but I think it's also um, an important part of being a coach and an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
In my experience, I, um, even though right now you're seeing a Crystal Lynn that has some hair on her head and she's wearing some makeup and her background has been, curated to be the background that I think best highlights my personality.
Hmm.
Okay. I went, it took it's been years of developing this. And my experimental phase, Lee, was very much about um, not having makeup, showing up regardless, whether I was in my pajamas, whether my hair looked a mess, whether I was in the kitchen or out walking the dog, whether I had anything together or not. For me, that was experimental,
Hmm.
and it was an essential part of the process. Can you relate to that at all? Because look, I'm looking at you and I find you to be a stunning woman. You are so well, you're so articulate and you come off really well. You come off like
Thank
a
you.
pro.
Thank you.
Was it always like this for you?
Not at all. All the opposite things. Like wasn't confident, didn't like to look at myself in the mirror, Crystal Lynn. Hid behind bags and glasses and long hair. Not at all. I think I was always the last person to the party. I was often the last person to realize the things about me that I now appreciate. Other people saw it and I didn't.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I have the same experience. A lot of what I'm, a lot of what is now curated is the best of what I liked about myself. And I did not see those things, and it took a lot for people, for me to be able to receive what people
Right?
were saying.
Right?
I still always heard everything through a lens of criticism. And now it's through a lens of actually, I'm okay, you're okay, she's okay. There's nothing to criticize anybody about because, you know, nobody's out here trying to be perfect. Everybody's out here just trying to have a good time.
Right?
So, Lee, let's start talking about things that, these ways to show up beautifully as a
Yeah.
spiritual coach, an entrepreneur. And actually, before we even dive into that, I want to know from your perspective, this spiritual part, I keep throwing that in
Mm.
there. Is the spiritual part important to this or not?
I think ultimately it is. We may not always recognize it because that word means different things to different people, but at the end of the day, we follow some kind of guidance system. We have something inside us that leads us in the direction that we go in. So I don't think we can run away from that.
And do
Even
you consider yourself spiritual?
yes,
What does that mean
and
for you?
spiritual and having a faith background, but really knowing that it's way more than me. It's so much more than me. Don't I don't get myself confused about that at all.
Right.
And so grateful makes you, I feel like, more intuitive and more in touch with the elements around me, people, elements, sounds, tastes. I have dog ears, I think, so I pick up on things from what feels like miles away, and tuning into that and listening to that.
That's beautiful. Number one, I can relate. I love how you've said, tuning into the world around you. For me, that sensuality, that feminine sensuality, that feminine going slowly, taking our time, feeling into what we're experiencing, feeling into people, the empathy, the compassion,
Hmm.
the leading with the heart, the feeling nature. There's all of that to me is feminine and spiritual.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean there's no masculine in there. That's not what I mean. But
Right.
there are these things that we've kind of attributed to the feminine sensibilities. But I feel like for me, spirituality is like a living, breathing thing. this is the spiritual business hour with Crystal Lynn, because it's not the everyday business hour, or the do it yourself business hour. It's very much about understanding that spirit is alive. It's in
Mm-hmm.
everything. I see it in everything. um, and there is purpose, there is soul, there is heart, there's nature. That's all real. The elementals are real. The gods and goddesses are real, and they are here, and they have a role to help us human beings,
Mm-hmm.
not just in ourselves, but in our health, in our relationships, in our sexuality, in our businesses. And so being able to talk to women about that and helping them use that and bring that more into their business is what I'm here for. And I think that that's what you're here for too, as well, Lee.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Lee, do you want to share with us your first way, the first way to show up beautifully as a spiritual coach and entrepreneur?
Yeah, there are many, and in no particular order. But the first one I'd like to bring up is um, to trust your own unique voice. Trust your voice, your inner voice, be listening, and be okay with talking to yourself out loud, calling yourself by name, because it comes out your mouth and back into your ears. In your head, it's a different kind of chatter. When it comes out your mouth and goes through your ears and has to get transcribed, as it were, um, listen to your own voice and be okay with your own voice. I know people say, I don't like the sound of my own voice. I used to be that person, but it's the voice I got. This is the voice I have, and I've learned to embrace it. But
Mhm.
get clear. This can take a little while,
Mhm.
about talking to yourself and asking yourself what you would really, really like.
Yeah.
What would you really, really, really like? What do you really, really want if there was nothing in the way? And let yourself hear that and
Ooh,
trust yourself.
being honest. Wow. I think that's so important. I love this as the leading entry point to this topic and what we're offering. You're going to walk away, by the way, with 16 ways. It's 8 ways, but we each have 8 ways.
Right?
So it's 16 ways. I just typed Lee's first way into the chat for people to be able to have it. Now, I love trusting your unique voice and this idea of being honest and actually listening to yourself. I think that's so important. Um, it's funny. I took a slightly different approach to this. I just got on a thread. I just got on a roll. And it started, I just was writing and letting it flow. And the very first thing that came up for me was being prepared.
Mm,
Okay. So I thought about, like, what does it even mean to show up? Okay. And showing up for me means, it can mean showing up for live streams, showing up on social media, showing up for a client, showing up for a networking meeting, showing
mhm,
up for a podcast or a live stream with a friend. Okay.
mhm,
And the very first thing that came up for me was choosing the right topic is what
mhm,
showed up, what came up for me. The very first thing, and this is what I noticed for myself, Lee, and everyone watching. Um, I noticed that in my past, sometimes I would say yes to things, or I would say yes to to a conversation, and I didn't know the topic, or the topic wasn't right for me.
okay.
Right? It was about maybe being in a space where it wasn't woo woo, okay? Or being in a space where it was woo woo that I did not agree with.
Mhm,
Like, I'm not going to be great in a woo woo space where there's a lot of bashing of the divine masculine, like when women start talking about the patriarchy, and it's always that same argument of the patriarchy put us in that situation. Um, even it's not that it's true or false, it's that that's not how I view things.
Right.
I'm not going to do well in that conversation. I'm going to withdraw, and I'm not going to show up my best. I'm be honest with you. Okay. I can talk about the divine masculine until the cows come home. But when the masculine is the problem, I'm not going to do well there. So making sure that when you're
Mm.
putting yourself out there, you're clear about what the real circumstances are that you're talking about, whether that's having a conversation with the people you're collaborating with, or preparing your audience for the truth of who you are. This is going back to what Lee said at first, trusting your own unique voice, understanding that your voice is unique and it's going to be different, understanding where you're going to be safe to use your own unique voice, because in certain places you may not be safe. You may be put and positioned as the enemy. So understand where you are and
Mm-hmm.
where you're showing up is important.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
All right. Lee, what about your next one? What's number 2 for you?
I would say teach from experience and not just learned information. I hear people in other work, and you've gone to school, you've got all this theory, and you could have a degree, you're very knowledgeable, but you haven't done any of the work yet. And when you get out there, you'll find it to be that educational basis is fantastic. But when you start working with people and we're all uniquely different, that's where the magic is, because the experience is amazing.
Mhm. I really, really love that because um, that's where you can bring your heart and soul, right?
Right.
Hmm. Okay, my next one is about showing up beautifully by being prepared.
Uh-huh.
And for me, the preparation for any appearance, whether it's again with a client in a one on one session, for a group session, showing up for that, showing up on social media with your content, showing up on a podcast, the point is to show up beautifully prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Do your homework, do your research, study, um, read a book, do something beyond just being in the moment. Obviously, Lee has showed up to this with her list of things. I showed up with my list of things. She read what I've been doing. She knows the context of who I am. Do your research on your guests. This is what brings depth and warmth and trust to you as a provider and as someone who is going to be a great guest. Lee's a great guest because she's done her homework. She knows me, but she's also done her homework. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Go right ahead, Lee. Go
Ready?
to your
Okay.
third. I'm going to pop this into I'm going to just type in here preparation. Be
Preparation.
prepared.
I would say next to let your life reflect your message.
Mm.
So you can do as I say and do as I do. Let your life reflect your message. That is part of it. That is part of being authentic. So I'm not teaching or preaching something that I don't believe in or don't do myself.
Hmm. So you're saying that let your life reflect your message. Tell us how that helps you show up or helps the ladies show up.
Then you don't have to perform. You don't have to even think about it. It's just if I'm teaching people to be authentic, or to let your natural energy be your energy, because different people are called to different people. So if one person's more animated or they're outgoing, then that's fine. If that's not your natural rhythm, you can't sustain it and keep doing it. You just have to be yourself. It's so much easier
Yeah. Yeah.
than trying to do this other thing. And so your voice is your voice, your tone is your tone, your pace is your pace. And who is for you and is drawn to that will come to that.
Mm.
Therefore, we also don't have to be competitive because who is called to an individual will find them if we're open to receiving them.
That's beautiful. I love that. Let your life reflect your message. I have something that's similar that I'm going to get
Mm-hmm.
to in a few minutes. So we'll circle back around to that for sure. My next thing about showing up beautifully, if you're a spiritual coach or a spiritual entrepreneur, and this to me is really important. It's being like promoting yourself. And I'm going to just write that here, promote yourself. And here's the reason why this is important, especially for spiritual women. Spiritual women are resistant to promoting themselves. We feel
Mm,
like it's bad etiquette. We want to play small. We want to hide. We want to put everyone else first. Oh, let her go first. Oh, let them go first. I was sitting next to someone. Now, this woman had prepared a whole speech. She was owed 3 minutes of the stage. And we had 4 minutes left in this group. Everybody else had spoken. And she said, "Oh, no, you all go ahead. Like, go ahead, finish your conversation." And I'm like, "No, you have to go. You have to say what you have to say because, number one, it's your time. Don't give away your time." And women are so quick to give away their time. And so allowing yourself to have the stage, I wrote also some more notes here. Promoting, uh, we hiding behind demure is not okay. Letting other people have the spotlight, and we're just too uncomfortable sharing what we're doing, and we tend to downplay ourselves. And it's not that we have to shamelessly promote ourselves, but it is that we really do need to discover how to promote ourselves in a way that is beautiful and in alignment with who we are, right?
100%.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And I'm sorry, let's pause a moment here. I see that
Yeah.
we have France who has sent us a message, a
Yeah.
meaningful message. I want to read that. It says, "Your point about vilifying the masculine energy is so on point. All of us, no matter what our gender is, have both masculine and feminine energy. Yes, both energies have pluses and minuses. Oh my goodness, the divine feminine, when she is bad, she is very, very bad and very hurtful. So yes, absolutely. So therefore, even the feminine energy can be problematic if not channeled well." That's a gorgeous response, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you sharing that with us, Fran.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And Lee, let's go ahead with your next offer there. That's
Mm-hmm. Um, Focusing on serving rather than performing, but serving, like deep, just truly, truly serving. What is their need? Who are we helping? How are we serving? And I believe it, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Zig Ziglar said, if you just help enough people to get what they want, you will get what you want.
Mhm. That is absolutely gorgeous. So very important. Taking the emphasis off of you yourself and who you are and what's going on with you and all your fears. Oh, my fears, my doubts, my self doubt. So much is keeping me here. If you focus on serving, all that stuff doesn't even matter.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, beautiful. My next one is about doing the work for the to create the opportunities.
Uh,
So I'm going to write this out here. I'm going to say create your own opportunities. Create
yes.
your own opportunities. So again, what we're doing with this with our live stream today is giving you these ways to show up beautifully, and one of those ways is to create your own opportunities. I created this spiritual business hour exactly 3 weeks ago to the day. And I decided that I wanted to do this because I wanted to give myself an opportunity to get my message out, but also I wanted to give an opportunity, I wanted to create an opportunity to connect with people like Lee, to connect with people like Stephanie, to connect with people like Irina, all these women that you've seen on this live stream in the last 3 weeks, like an opportunity to have a conversation, to put ourselves out there and to share and to bring people in, like with France, who is here and sharing their perspective with us. It is so important to create those opportunities. You create opportunities by creating content and putting it out there, by creating a video, by writing, by making a post, by leaving a comment. You are creating an opportunity for yourself. By creating a lead magnet, you're
Mhm.
creating an opportunity for yourself. So if you want to show up beautifully, you have to create these opportunities and then you have to follow them through.
Mhm. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. You want to go with your next one, Lee?
Let's see. Let's see. This is one of my favorites. They're all favorites, but this is really good because this is something that I personally had to figure out and work on. I know it's not devastating, but it's be yourself.
Mm,
Just be yourself. I know we have different personas that show up for different things with different groups and different people. But for somebody that was challenged with this growing up, because I was always performing, because there was a lot of judgment. So I performed to get response that I needed from people. But to be myself, be yourself, and be okay with you.
yeah.
Just to be okay with who you are. We're all unique and we can't be anybody else.
I think that's the beauty of going through hardships, you know, having struggled with things in the past. My struggle with, I mentioned my mom and, how hard she was on me and how, I had to deal with, coming to understand my beauty. That makes me unique, and that empowers me as a coach and as a spiritual entrepreneur. I guarantee you that my struggles are built into the things that I teach as foundations so
Mm-hmm.
that I can help people overcome. When people say that they are afraid to get in front of the camera, they're dealing with the way that they look and the way they show up. It's not just about the things that we're talking about here. It's that I've understood what it feels like to not feel great in front of the camera, to not feel beautiful, to feel less than, and to still have to show up anyway. I know how to deal with that, but that's what makes us unique and what makes our work
Right.
so valuable.
Crystal Lynn, you won't believe this, but there was a time I would never, not that long ago, I would never, ever, 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 ever be on a Zoom or a live or on anything. Ever. That's bizarre. Who does that?
Well, and what a blessing that you made the decision to, because now all the people who are watching us get to enjoy you, they get to receive from you, and you get to be here. I get to enjoy. Every time you and I have a conversation like this, I am delighted. Okay, so thank you for showing up. All right. My next one is, again, coming from this perspective of how, showing up beautifully. Well, in order to show up beautifully, you got to have somebody to show up to. So, in order to show up beautifully, you need to build your
Mm-hmm.
audience.
Mm-hmm.
Build your audience. It takes
Mm-hmm.
time, it takes energy, it takes patience, it takes consistency. But in order to build your audience, you start small. You start where you are. Okay. Now, I need to say this: don't intentionally start small. Okay. Don't limit yourself. Just put yourself out there and don't worry if your numbers are small. We all have to deal with the algorithm. The algorithm is not your enemy, but it is relating to things that are very specific. And new coaches, new entrepreneurs don't have the tolerance to deal with the algorithm. So, what I want you to do is to understand that the algorithm is not your enemy.
Mm,
What
mm-mm,
the algorithm rewards is the person who shows up consistently. Now, what's going
mm,
to happen is you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to get one view on your video. And then the next day, you're going to show up, you're only going to get one view. And then the next day, you're going to show up and you're going to get one view. Now, the average person is going to they're going to lose their courage and they're going to stop showing up. Algorithm hates that. So that's why you have to show up 25 times. And then what's going to happen is the algorithm is finally going to catch on that you are somebody who is consistent. And then what's going to happen is your one is going to become 10. And then you're going to have to stay there at that 10 for a while, but you got to be consistent, right? Consistent. Don't not show up. Then what's going to happen is you're going to put a post out there, and I see this all
mm.
the time, all the time. You're going to put a post out there, all of a sudden, because you're consistent, it's going to be pretty good. And then that one thing is going to go viral, and you're going to be like, what in the world happened? And the algorithm is going to be like, whoa, she said the right thing. She's been showing up consistently. We can reward her with all these things because she's gotten all these things built up. It's called compounding. All right. So, what you want to be doing is building your audience from day one and just taking your time, but being consistent with what you're doing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be on the regular. All right. You will be rewarded. And
Mhm.
that's what you bank on. You bank on your own consistency. All right. And Lee, don't you feel free to if
Yes,
anything you want to throw in, feel free to. Okay. Don't worry. These are
absolutely.
not mine.
Ready for another one?
Yeah, ready for
All
another.
right, let's see. Stay a student. Stay a student, student of life. We're always learning and always, hopefully, growing. Stay a student. We're never going to know it all. We're taking things in. Just when you think you've seen everything, you think you see something else. When the more people you work with, you'll see different things about life. So stay a student, be humble, as the song says. And
She brought in K Dot, you guys. Yay. We like that.
and that doesn't mean to say don't create your platforms, don't show up. But it's all part of being yourself, but still be open to learning. Be open to learning.
Yeah. I love this because for me, staying a student, like, I was talking to a beautiful woman today. She's a coach. She's been a coach for over 10 years. I've been a coach for over 15 years. And the conversation we had felt new. It felt
Mm,
fresh. It
mm,
felt um, it felt expansive because
mm,
neither one of us
mm,
thought we knew more than the other. There was
mm,
no competition,
mhm.
and neither one of us felt like we have learned it all.
Right,
We both felt like we had stepped into our power. We both, because we've been doing this for a long time.
right,
And we learned a lot of what we knew the hard way. Like you said earlier, it's not all about book learning, right? We lived from experience,
right.
but Lee, it felt very much like uh, we were excited to play together, right? We were
Oh,
excited to play together, but we were also very much respectful of the fact that she's a master and I'm a master.
mm,
And neither one of us were going to fuck with the other.
right,
Like there was none of that ego. There was a great mutual
right.
respect.
And there was no need. That's the thing. You both got that. There was no need.
Exactly. No
There's no
need.
need for that.
Totally.
Um, my background is healthcare and empath by, I think, by nature, but I would say lead also with compassion
Mm,
because I think I can appreciate where I've come along and what I've been through.
mhm,
I'm definitely empathic, but just to lead with compassion as we help people, as you're helping people out, sometimes out the ditch.
mhm. That's so powerful. And that what a wonderful, don't you notice people who are compassionate like light up the room, they light up the space? Like that heart is where that compassion is. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, my next one. This is number 7.
Okay.
We're at number 7 already. This one for me, I think, is really important, and it's develop your platform, right?
Mm,
So, in order to show up beautifully as a spiritual coach and entrepreneur, you need you need a platform. You need a place. I'm trying to spell platform here and talk at the same time. I cannot walk and chew gum at the same time, but there we go. I got it into the comments. But developing your platform for me is important because it goes along with building your audience. You need a place. Now, Lee, I see you showing up on Facebook, doing your live streams, your shorts, your videos. You are developing that platform. I'm accustomed to seeing you. I expect to see you. It's not that I'm always going to sit there and watch every single episode every single time.
right.
I see you. I see another one of my friends, Irina. We are putting ourselves out there and we are dominating our platform itself. And the reason why I'm saying dominating, I know a lot of women don't like to say this, a lot of spiritual
Mm,
people don't like to say this, but here's the thing. You have a message, and it is an important one. God gave you a calling. God put something in your heart. God put wisdom in your brain. God opened you up to all this love that is
mhm,
being poured through you through your experience, and you took it and you ran with it. Okay. You developed your lead magnets, your coaching program. You did all that. If you don't put it out there consistently on a
mhm,
regular basis, you are doing a disservice. You're
mhm,
doing a disservice to yourself first
mhm,
and foremost.
mhm.
You went through all this stuff. What? So it could be kept undercover so that
Right.
nobody sees it? No.
Right.
But the world needs it.
Right.
So understanding that your platform, for me, I use Facebook, I use
Mhm,
YouTube, those are my primary, but I
mhm,
also have an email list. I
mhm,
email my people on a regular basis, sharing my blog. I have a blog,
mhm,
I have a website. I develop those things. They are very important for me. So making sure you show up on a regular basis for
mhm.
me, developing that platform is key.
Confirmation of that. Just today, I did a quick check of some emails and I went and I was looking at some responses that I got from a message I put out last night. I put it on Substack and I do a newsletter over there. And somebody that I've been following, and she has great newsletters, she responded. I I was almost in tears. It touched my heart that it touched her,
Yeah.
that she recognized herself in the situation. And the topic was about being miserable and grateful at the same time, and how could the two exist together, but they could. And she told me a little bit about herself and what had happened to her in life. And I responded right away, but I was touched. I was deeply touched that something I, up until recently, would not have shared. He was a little raw, not raw, but a little vulnerable. I don't wear my stuff on my sleeve,
Mm,
but I shared it, and she saw herself in it, and I'm like, confirmation
yeah.
that things need to be talked about.
That's so important. And if you didn't put that out there, how would you know? How would you know?
I wouldn't.
No, you got to get the feedback. This is why I ask people in the comments, please, by the way, if you will type in whatever you're feeling, whatever questions you have for us. And I realize that I think that, with this technology that I'm using, I'm still learning this
Mm,
technology. And look, again, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to put yourself out there. And I think this technology, I thought that I was seeing all the comments, but I think I'm only seeing comments. Well, no, I did see. France was on Facebook, so never mind. Never mind. I'm good. I'm good. Now, Lee, let me ask you, was that your
yes.
last one? Was that number 8 for you?
I think there was 8. I think I have one more.
Okay, cool. Let me see. I think I have one more too.
Okay.
So let me see. Oop, here we go. Yes, my last one is heart.
Oh.
So in order to um, show up like beautifully as a spiritual coach, as a spiritual entrepreneur, you really need to have heart. Now, as you look through my list and you look through Lee's list, notice that neither one of us said you have to have a great product, right? You have to have your product all together. You got to have your funnel tight, okay? Those things are important, and having a great product is important.
Hmm.
But that's not where it begins.
Hmm.
You as a coach don't begin with your product. You as a coach,
Hmm.
as an entrepreneur, even entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a business person,
Hmm.
okay? But that's not the leading thing. The leading thing is your heart, your soul, what your what you want to give, what you want to offer, but not the product, but it's the heart. So your passion is important. And I wrote something: passion for your topic, passion for your business, passion for your customers. You
Right.
have to feel it in your heart, and you need to feel that in your body. You cannot let ChatGPT do your work. This is what I'm seeing a lot of. These women are coming in here making their comments, they're making their posts. It's all ChatGPT, it's all AI. It looks like ChatGPT, it smells like ChatGPT, and we can tell. All right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on AI. Okay. Y'all know I love AI. But I'm saying if AI is doing your work
Mm.
and that is how you're showing up, we can see that. And that is not okay. All right. And I don't recommend it. It's okay. You can do it. There is no judgment. But the ratings and your pocketbook and your audience, that's what's going to be there that shows you. All
Hmm.
right. Not bashing AI, but using it the right way and not replacing yourself with AI. You're going to have to do the work, y'all. Go
Right.
ahead, Lee. What's your last one?
My last one is listen when we're talking to, especially our clients or possible clients, is to listen more than we speak. I did some training once. It was for coaches. I can't remember the title of it, and there was a phrase they had in there to help us focus on what the client needed, and it was called "Let them drain the swamp." In other words, let them let it out. And I myself have been on coaching calls to get coaches use coaches. I love support and help and guidance.
Mm,
And I will tell you that the more excited and the more they needed to tell me about all the things, the more I backed away because it seemed more important that they told me how good this thing was. Um, and it's good to be excited about what you have. But what do they need? And if they don't get a chance to tell you, you don't know where they are, what they need, and how you can help them. So
mm,
let folk talk, have some questions, but let them express themselves because
definitely.
people want to be heard. Um, and oftentimes in their life, they don't have anybody that they can share some of those things with.
Mm, yeah, definitely. Loving that. Showing up and listening. Um, I need to write that down. Sorry. Show up. No, you said listen more than you speak. Is that what you
Right,
said?
right.
Listen more than you speak. Absolutely. Um, One of the things that I am loving about doing this live stream and bringing in someone
Mhm.
like you, first of all, normally I do conversations on Mondays. So it's
Uh-huh.
bold conversations Mondays. But you and I am like, ah, Lee's so beautiful. I'm bringing Lee in on Badass Beautiful Fridays. We're going to talk about beauty on Fridays. So I wanted to do it this way. And I do that throughout the week. But, I'm also on most of those days, I'm just talking, right? It's just Woo Wednesday. I'm just talking about this. On, Thursdays, Build Your Empire Thursdays, I'm showing you how to build a spreadsheet.
Mm,
But one of the things that I'm loving is listening to you talk. I'm loving watching you, and I'm loving hearing your wisdom and playing with that and bringing that in. And I feel like you're helping me show up beautifully.
thank you. Yeah, it's taken some support and guidance myself to get to this point. But I'm so grateful too. I'm so grateful to be where I am. And I love the business of helping other women along the way because I don't think we get enough of that.
Mhm.
So I think it's important. It's what I believe I'm called to, and I can't let it go. It's my duty to do. It was a revelation, Crystal Lynn, when I figured out I was supposed to be using my voice. It was a
Mm.
literal revelation. I think I was laying down at the time and I sat bolt upright. I'm like, wait. I'm supposed to use my God given voice. The very thing that I held hostage was the tool I was supposed to be using.
Did you find, Lee, that when you had that wake up call, did you know how you were supposed to be using your voice?
I knew I needed to just, not specifically how, but I
Mm.
knew. It was funny because it was a thing I hadn't used for most of my life. It was funny and ironic and all at the same time.
Mm.
But it was like, of course it is. Of course that's a thing I'm supposed to use because that's a thing I kept in a jar with a very tight lid on in the back of the cabinet. I was not going to use it. Nope, nope, and no.
Excellent.
That's silly.
Yeah, I love those kinds of stories of transformation. But that's the thing, we all have these kinds of stories, and I think that that's what we're here to do, to bring that out, to have the awakening and then do something with it. It's all well and good to just have an awakening, good for you, but you're not doing anything with
Right,
it. All right,
right. What are you
good.
going to do with it? Now what?
Brag. I got an awakening. Oh, good for you. What are you doing with it?
Wonderful.
Mm,
Because I know from my experience, I'm sure from yours too, that I'm not the only one. I know there's many other women who have felt the way I felt.
mm, yeah.
And I want whoever wants that to help them feel safe. As I've worked
Mm,
with a coach, she said, feel safe. I want you all to write this down. Feel safe in the expansion.
mm.
It feels scary, but we're here to expand. That's what life is, and be okay in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, excellent. Keith, the smooth healer, says, good evening. As your peace and comfort grows more with every healing breath. Yes, yes. And we get a purple heart. Love that purple heart on this badass, beautiful Fridays, Keith. Thank you. So, look, you all, we are going to wrap it up. This has been a beautiful conversation with my friend, Coach Lee Forrester. And I'm Crystal Lynn Bell. I'm a spiritual business mentor. This is the Spiritual Business Hour with Crystal Lynn Bell. We meet here every weekday at 2 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And we talk about how to run your business
Mm,
using your heart, using your soul,
mm,
and of course, also using good, solid business practices. Because what? I want you to become a six-figure spiritual coach or a six-figure spiritual business mentor.
mhm,
Six figures plus. We'll talk about that in a different episode because I do talk about six figures. It's important.
mhm.
It's not enough to be, what Lee just was saying. Like, what are you doing with that wonderful spiritual awakening
Mhm,
that you have with this wake
mhm.
up call? She got a wake up call to use her voice. And it's not that she says, use my voice to make money. No, use your voice to answer the call in your
Right,
heart and build a business that makes you money and
right,
gives you freedom. You
right,
deserve that. You
right.
deserve that.
I love that answer the call.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mhm. Excellent. So thank you guys for joining us. And again, if you're here live, please in the comments type hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, type in hashtag replay and let us know you visited. If you have questions or comments, please let us know. Also, Lee, one more thing before we leave.
Mhm.
You've got something coming up, and I forgot to mention that earlier, but I'd love for you to showcase whatever it is that you are offering right now. How
Yeah,
can people get in touch with you? How do you want to help people right now?
absolutely. For women who are in that in between, it might be a gray area. The workshop is a live workshop, it's an intimate setting where you can come and not be preached at or presented with, but come and bring your heart and plunk the stuff down. Like, I'm in this stuck place. It's empty nesting and career changing. Life looks glossy on the outside, but I don't feel so great on the inside. But I'm performing and putting on that image because I need everybody to think everything's fine. So it's called Figuring Out What's Next Without Overthinking It. So you've got my email right there, or you can come find me. I'm on
Wait,
Facebook with my full name.
look what I did
What did
because
you do?
I put it in the comments. So it's in the description that I put for the video. And for if you're watching this on the event page, it is in the event description. And I have the link right here. You can join, figure out what's next in your life without overthinking it. There's the link right there in the
Oh,
comments for you now.
wonderful. Wonderful. And again, it's a free event. It's 60 minutes and it's on Sunday, 2 days from now. And that's 4 p.m. Pacific. And I think that's 4, 5, 7 Eastern. Yeah, 3 hours. Still counting the fingers.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, friends. So we're going to go ahead and sign off now. Thanks a lot. And please share this video, give it a reaction, leave a comment, and I will see you on Monday for Bold Conversations Monday. Monday, we're going to be talking about something about retreats. I have a retreat specialist. Her name is Lori McDowell. She's going to be there talking about like how retreats can help you in your spiritual coaching business. So that's going to be fun. Join us on Monday again at 2 o'clock here. All right. Thanks a bunch, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, Lee.